down my hat.
Just let me hear some of that rock and roll.
1976 had hits everywhere, but some of them almost disappeared. You may have forgotten the artist, you may have forgotten the title, but the moment you hear the opening notes, you'll remember. Here are 10 forgotten hits from 1976. America still remembers. Number 10. Still the One, Orleans. This song sounds like a declaration of love, but the people who wrote it weren't pretending their relationship was perfect.
I look at your face every day.
Still the One was written by John Hall and Johanna Hall, a husband and wife songwriting team. The lyrics openly acknowledge that relationships have difficult moments, while still arriving at the same conclusion. After everything, this is still the person you choose. That honesty helped make the song special. Released in 1976 by Orleans, Still the One climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming the band's biggest American hit. Its smooth guitars, warm harmonies, and relaxed rhythm made it almost perfectly designed for FM radio. The song became so recognizable that ABC even used it in television promotion during the period. But Orleans never became as permanently famous as the song itself, and that's one reason Still the One belongs on this list. You may not hear Orleans mentioned very often anymore, but give the song 3 seconds, and 1976 comes rushing back.
You're still the one who can scratch my itch. You're still the one. You're still the one. You're still the one.
Hello, yeah, it's been a while. Not much. How about you?
Number 9. I'd Really Love to See You Tonight. England, Dan and John Ford Coley. The strange thing about this song is how little actually happens.
I'm not sure why I called. I guess I really just wanted to talk to you.
There's no dramatic breakup, no grand declaration, just a man asking someone he used to know if she'd like to see him tonight. That simplicity became the magic.
It's been such a long time and I really do miss your smile.
I'd Really Love to See You Tonight was recorded by England Dan and John Ford Coley, the Texas duo whose soft harmonies became a defining sound of 1970s radio.
I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life.
Released in 1976, the song quickly became one of the year's biggest soft rock records, reaching number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
And I'd really love to see you tonight.
The production was gentle, the melody was effortless, and the vocal harmonies made the whole thing feel almost like a private conversation. For a generation of radio listeners, it was everywhere.
I stayed home and watched TV. You see, it really doesn't matter much to me.
Yet today, the duo's name is far less familiar than the song. That's the strange fate of some 1970s hits. The music survives, while the people who made it slowly disappear from the conversation.
I'm not talking about moving in, and I don't want to change your life. There's a warm wind blowing, the stars around, and I'd really love to see you tonight. Another day's at end.
Number 8. Shannon, Henry Gross. A song about a dog became one of the most haunting hits of 1976.
No one can even begin to tell her.
Shannon was written and recorded by Henry Gross, and its inspiration came from the death of Carl Wilson's Irish setter Shannon. Gross had met Wilson and heard about the dog, and the story stayed with him.
I hardly know what to say.
Instead of writing a traditional pop song about grief, he turned that loss into something much more atmospheric. The recording is gentle, almost dreamlike.
Shannon is gone, I hope she's drifting on.
But underneath that softness is a very simple idea. Someone you love is gone, and there's nothing you can do about it.
She always loved to swim away.
Released in 1976, Shannon became a major American hit, reaching the Billboard Top 10. It also gave Henry Gross the biggest hit of his solo career. For a brief moment, the song was everywhere.
Mama tries hard to pretend things will get better again.
Today, however, many listeners remember the melody without remembering the man who recorded it. And when you hear it again, the sadness hasn't aged at all.
Just like the one in our backyard.
Number 7. Love to Love You Baby, Donna Summer. This song didn't just become a hit, it helped introduce America to a new sound. Love to Love You Baby came from Donna Summer, who was still relatively unknown in the United States when the song began attracting attention.
When you're laying so close to me, there's no place I'd rather you be than with me.
The original recording was extended into a much longer version, transforming what could have been a conventional single into something hypnotic and provocative.
Do it to me again and again. You put me in such an awful spin in a spin.
Released in America in late 1975 and becoming a major chart presence in 1976, it helped establish Summer as one of the defining voices of the emerging disco era. The record was radically different from the soft rock dominating much of FM radio. It was sensual, electronic, repetitive, and built around a groove rather than a traditional rock structure.
Get down real close to me, soothe my mind and set me free, set me free.
That difference mattered, because 1976 was one of those moments when American pop music was changing underneath everyone's feet. And Donna Summer wasn't simply participating in that change, she was helping lead it.
I have just closed my eyes again.
Number 6. Dreamweaver, Gary Wright. This song sounded like the future in 1976. Dreamweaver came from Gary Wright, a musician whose career had already taken him through British rock before he began creating his own distinctive sound. The song's most unusual feature was its keyboard-driven atmosphere.
Java, take away my worries of today.
Instead of building the record around a conventional guitar riff, Wright created a floating electronic texture that seemed to hang in the air. That sound became instantly recognizable.
I believe you can get me through the night.
Released in 1975 and becoming a major American hit in 1976, Dreamweaver reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Fly me high through the starry skies.
Suddenly, keyboards weren't just background instruments. They were the atmosphere, the identity, the hook, and that helped make the song feel unlike almost anything else on the radio.
Oh, the dawn may become soon.
Decades later, the technology may no longer sound futuristic, but the record still has something remarkable about it. It doesn't sound trapped in 1976. It sounds like 1976, imagining the future.
I believe we can reach the borderline. We are.
Number 5. Let Your Love Flow, the Bellamy Brothers. Before the Bellamy Brothers became closely associated with country music, they had a huge pop hit.
Those feelings through the moonlit nights with your love.
Let Your Love Flow was released in 1976 and became an international success, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. But here's what makes the song interesting. Its writers weren't the Bellamy Brothers.
Let your love fly like a bird on the wing, and let your love find.
The song was written by Larry E. Williams, who had been inspired to write it after hearing a musician backstage at a concert. The Bellamys turned that composition into a bright, melodic recording that sat comfortably between country, pop, and soft rock.
There's a reason for the warm, sweet nights, and there's a reason.
That crossover appeal was a major part of its success. At the time, radio didn't always divide music into the rigid genre categories we use today. A great song could simply be a great song, and Let Your Love Flow was exactly that.
Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow.
The Bellamy Brothers would eventually build a long country career, but for many Americans, this is still the song that introduced them.
Just let your love flow like a mountain stream, and let your love grow. Let your love fly like a bird on a wing, and let your love find you.
Late nights so long ago, when I was not so strong, you know.
Number 4. Magic Man, Heart. Before Heart became one of the biggest rock bands of the 1980s, they were already making hits.
Could not run away and seen each other in a dream.
Magic Man was released in 1975 and became a major American hit in 1976, reaching the Billboard Top 10. Written by Ann Wilson and Nancy Wilson, the song showcased something that made Heart different from most rock bands of the period.
Oh, girl, he said with a smile.
It was heavy, but also delicate. The guitars had power, while Ann Wilson's voice could move from intimate to explosive within the same performance.
Try to understand. I'm a magic man.
The song also introduced listeners to the mysterious figure described in the lyrics, a man who represents both fascination and danger. That ambiguity gave Magic Man an edge beyond the average rock love song.
Mama says she's worried, growing up in a hurry.
And then there was Ann Wilson's voice. Even before Heart reached its biggest commercial years, it was obvious that she possessed something extraordinary.
Try to understand.
Magic Man wasn't just an early hit, it was the warning shot. Heart had arrived.
I'm strolling down the garden path.
Number 3. Hello Old Friend, Eric Clapton. Eric Clapton had already been a guitar legend for years, but Hello Old Friend showed a much quieter side of him. Released in 1976, the song appeared on Clapton's album No Reason to Cry and became a successful American single.
Well, hello, old friend. It's really good to see you.
There was no extended guitar showcase, no heavy blues rock attack. Instead, Clapton leaned into a warm, melodic sound that fit comfortably beside the softer records dominating FM radio.
Saw you walking underneath the stars.
The title itself suggests a reunion, but the song isn't simply about meeting an old friend. It's about the complicated feeling of reconnecting with someone after time has changed both of you. That restraint was part of Clapton's appeal during this period.
I got out and walked to where you are. Hello, old friend.
He was no longer trying to prove how much guitar he could play. He was becoming more interested in atmosphere, songwriting, and feeling.
I thought I knew him, but I could not say.
Hello Old Friend may not be the first Clapton song people name today, but that is precisely why it belongs here. It captures a side of his 1970s career that deserves another listen.
To see you once again. Oh, friend. Really good to see you once again. Just let me hear some of that rock and roll.
Number 2. Rock and roll music, The Beach Boys. In 1976, the Beach Boys did something that could easily have gone wrong. They went back to basics. After years of experimentation and changing musical trends, the group recorded rock and roll music, their version of the Chuck Berry classic.
Ain't got no kicks against modern jazz, unless they try to play it too hard.
Released as the title track of their 1976 album 15 Big Ones, the record brought the band back toward the straightforward rock and roll sound that had helped make them famous. And audiences responded.
So she could hear my man away inside. I must admit they have a rock band.
The single became a significant American hit, giving the Beach Boys another major chart moment during a decade when many of their 1960s peers were struggling to stay relevant.
It's out there, but I tell you folks, they had a jam.
But the fascinating part isn't simply that they had another hit. It's that the song connected two different eras. The early rock and roll generation and the 1970s audience now hearing it through the unmistakable sound of the Beach Boys. It was familiar, but it wasn't just nostalgia. The band was reminding everyone that the music that started it all still had power.
They started playing that rock and roll music. If you wanna dance with me, rock, if you wanna dance with me. Hand me down my walking cane, hand me down my hat.
Number 1. The Rubber Band Man, The Spinners. This may be one of the happiest songs ever to hide a serious story behind it.
You and me, we're going out, catch a lady sign.
The Rubber Band Man was released by The Spinners in 1976, and its infectious rhythm made it one of the group's signature hits. But the song was inspired by something much more personal.
Hey y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band man.
Writer Tom Bell and lyricist Linda Creed created it around the image of a father who was proud of his son, a talented entertainer who was beginning to lose weight and change his appearance.
You're bound to lose control when the rubber band starts to jam.
The Rubber Band Man became a playful nickname inside that story. What emerged was completely different from a typical soul ballad. The rhythm was energetic, the bass was unforgettable, and the vocals had an almost irresistible bounce.
When I saw this short black guy place a band between his toes.
The song became a major American hit and remains one of the most recognizable recordings in the Spinners' catalog.
Got that rubber band up on his toes.
And that's why it makes the perfect number 1. Because the Rubber Band Man doesn't simply remind you of 1976. It makes you want to move.
Oh, just rubber, baby with the rubber band. Come on, y'all, get down. Oh, yeah.
Which one of these songs did you remember the moment you heard it? And here's the bigger question. What forgotten 1976 hit should we have included? Leave the song title in the comments. You might just remind someone else of a song they haven't heard in decades.